Hello viewers, and welcome again to Discovering Truth, and I am Pastor Forbes from the Gateway here in Abiding Word Ministries in the Gambia. Well, we are in our fourth and final part of this interesting topic, and I thank you for your feedback. For those of you who always engage me, thank you for your suggestions, thank you for your feedback, thank you, it helps me. So this is part 4 and the final part on Gambian intentionality, the pathway to national prosperity. And I am assuming, as we have been discussing, that if we are intentional on our vision, mission, and core values, or corporate culture, or launching paths to the achievement, attainment, and accomplishment of this vision, it would be to national prosperity, to legacy, to longevity, to generations come still thanking God for us. So we talked about the importance of vision. We talked about the importance of mission. And we talked about the importance of core values. And much as I am emphasizing this for the nation, this is applicable to every individual. As a matter of fact, you all know from the law of summation in math that the sum of the total is equal to the cumulative sum of the constituent parts. So if I have a vision, mission, and core value, and every Gambian and person living in the Gambia does, we have a convergence and a seeming clarity and focus of all thinking the same way. Because the core values I am talking about, 13 of them, are not things that are in heaven. They are not in the skies. They are not things that are just for Caucasians or North Americans or Asians or so-called first world people. They are things that build up everybody into a dignified, self-actualized person under God, fulfilling divine purpose. What are these 13 core values? We did the first 6, and I want to do the other 7, and we will bring this series to an end, and then we're going to start something equally important. Remember, we said the first core value or corporate culture or launching path towards our Gambian vision of being so intentional that we get into national prosperity for everybody from here to Koina, from Bunyadu to Katong, everywhere. The first we said is that we must be people who plan well. We must love planning and preparing. We must not be lastminute.com people. The nation must not wait till last minute and want to scramble, because your best never comes out when you do last minute. So we talked about the 5 P's. Poor preparation, poor planning produces poor performance. It's a given. And even what looks like it's good, if you go back and watch it and listen to it and look at it critically, you'll see all the things that could and should have been done that were not done because you were last minute. So we said, as a people who have a vision, who have a mission into prosperity, and who want to transform this country into an oasis, into a paradise, with all the visions we had of Singapore and Dubai and Bahamas and all the things, Mauritius, Cape Verde, all the things we've talked about, Rwanda included, that we must be people who are good at preparation and planning. We must love it. We must not just jump to things and do things impulsively. Number 2, we said we must be a people of integrity. That cannot be overemphasized. We do not want to be a nation that is known for lack of integrity. There are nations like that in the world. There are nations like that in our continent. And so citizens from that nation sometimes suffer a lot. People don't trust their word. People see them as criminal. People see them as crooked. Generationally. And that's bad. I pray we never get to that. We should be known as a people of integrity. One of the reasons why sometimes, and I know this is not foolproof, but sometimes why people get rejected in things like visas, sometimes it's just that thing of integrity. You didn't speak the truth. The trained personnel, the consular or the entry clearance officer can see through. Things don't add up. We must have integrity. Because, I have found out that when you have integrity, you don't second guess what you say. Because when you lie, you have to think of what you said to cover what you're about to say and keep lying so that all the lines line up like ducks in a row. And you will forget. You'll be caught. Whether it's in business, relationship, religion, education, finances, whatever it is, we must have integrity, be integrated, be one, be whole. Our word must be our bond. Number 3, we said we must be people who are disciplined and have self-control. A people who are disciplined and self-control will prosper. Because discipline and self-control will make you be patient, make you say, now is not the time. The phrase we always use is that you sacrifice the now on the altar of the long term and don't do it the other way around. The other way around is like eating what you should eat 4 years ahead of time, eating it now. So it's sacrificing the long term, the permanent, the good on the altar of today. We have a man like that in the Bible named Esau. Sacrificed his birthright, sacrificed his blessing because he said he was hungry. And when the outplay and the effect and the outcome of what he did happen, he wept and wanted to kill his brother, forgetting that he sacrificed his future. Sometimes you talk with people and in 10 minutes you can tell whether they are disciplined or not. Or give somebody $10,000 now. You will know how disciplined they are because they will use it exactly how their life is going. So discipline and self-control, being able to defer, being able to say not today, not now. Let me save it for later. Number 4 was contentment. And I told you that there is a verse in the Bible that says godliness with contentment is a great plus. It's a great gain. It's a win-win. Not just godliness, as great as godliness is, there must be contentment. And my question was, are we content? Or are we always looking for what we can do, undermine this? I remember once I shuddered. I was on a flight heading from here to Europe, going to Brussels, and there was a gentleman next to me. I knew him, I know him. He probably didn't know it was me. We sat next to each other. The plane had not even started taxiing. He was going for a conference, and he was negotiating the other ticket and the per diem while he was on the ground for the other one. He had not even finished the first one. He was negotiating. And I heard him saying that, look, it does not matter. I'll pay with my credit card. Just make sure you people refund me. Make sure. And he was jittery about it. Contentment is great gain. I think in Wolof the word is doyal or doylo. Contentment. You can get everything, eat everything, be everything, wear everything, drive everything. Contentment. There are people who have worked their heart to shock, to death because of lack of contentment. There are people who unfortunately have brought self-imposed obesity on them because of lack of contentment. They want to eat this. My parents suffer, so I will not suffer. Eat this, even my children will never suffer. Eat this, eat that, eat this, eat that, eat this, eat that. And they wake up one day and all the problems they don't want happens to them. And all that money now has to go to medicine, supplements, doctors, pharmacies, traditional herbal, all kinds of things. Masseurs, physiotherapies, spas. Contentment is good. As a nation, do we know contentment? Because if we do, it's a pathway to prosperity. The next thing, number 5, was sacrifice and service. Just like contentment. A people who cannot sacrifice and a people who are not service-oriented will not go very far. Because lack of sacrifice and service is one of two things. One is a spirit of entitlement. I must have it. The other one is that I'm not doing anything for anybody. So invariably, you grind to a halt. But you watch people who are patient, who have sacrificed. I always give the example of the old man you are playing checkers with, draft damier, and he moves one and you kill, he moves another one and you kill, and he moves another one, and you feel so happy. You think this old man doesn't know what he's doing. And then he moves one and you kill, and he wipes 9 of your whatever they are, and your eyes open. Because no, he was patient. Sometimes you watch the way an eagle gets fish from the water. You watch the way these animals that blend in try to catch their prey. Very quiet, very stealthy. They're watching. It's as if the cheetah and the lion are waiting, and the tiger. When they take off, you see that sprint. They are hitting kilometers per hour. In no time, they've got their prey. They've got their prey. Sacrifice and service. And last week, we ended with honor and respect. And I talked about, this kind of disrespect. And I understand sometimes things are jokes. People say that they have their poetical license, they have their journalistic license. Sometimes politicians also think they have their political license. But we have to be careful so that we don't rip apart the fabric of our social cohesion. Because once that happens, no matter the vision we have, it will never come to pass. No matter how great you are, you cannot lead an ungovernable country. You cannot lead a divided country. There are countries that are having elections. One has just finished one. And they have seen that when the people respond, sometimes you don't get the majority you want. You now have to do a coalition, a skirt and blouse. And that sometimes becomes the beginning of your undoing, because very few marriage of strange bedfellows work. Very few coalitions in this world have ever worked. We don't have to look far to find out. So the sense of honor and respect, respecting age, respecting elderliness, respecting accomplishment, respecting merit, honoring accomplishment, honoring excellence, honoring efficiency, honoring orderliness, not trying to undermine it, disentangle it, dismantle it, spoil it. You try to social somebody, chat him, sitikong him, tour him. No. Throw a spell. No. When I was a young boy growing up, there used to be a big yellow and black signboard just after Radio Seed if you're coming home or going to school. Most of you know that sign. It used to say, drive carefully. The life you save may be your own. So treat people carefully. The life you stone may be your own. Or as they say in English, he that lives in glass houses must not throw stones. Or as they say, only a foolish neighbor laughs at his neighbor's house on fire. A wise neighbor will wake everybody up, bring their fire extinguisher, bring water, bring sand to help put that fire off, because the fire may just skip into your own place. And that is the reality of life. Just when you thought you were laughing at other people, mocking at them, nemesis catches up with you. Life teaches you a lesson. You are mocking at somebody that is physically challenged, disabled or something, and then something happens to you. And then you want mercy. You want understanding. You want to get what you never gave out. You want to reap where you did not sow. We have to be a people that honor and show reverence and respect. We must be a people that are patient. As I said, you can't eat everything now. A lot of us know the story about the goose and the golden egg and the farmer. Farmer woke up one day and saw this golden egg. Went to sell it, made money. Next day, he woke up, saw another golden egg. Went to sell it, made more money. Third day, he saw another golden egg. Woke up, went and saw it, and then he thought, I cannot be waiting 24 hours for one golden egg. The place where this egg is coming from, there must be plenty. And tragically, he killed the goose, split it apart, and there was no egg inside. So no egg, goose died, depressed farmer, no money. We must learn to be patient. In the Bible, there is a book called Ecclesiastes. And in its 3rd chapter, it starts like this. To everything there is a season and a purpose for every time under the earth. There is a time for this. There is a time for that. There is a time for this. There is a time for that. And then it ends by saying, God makes all things beautiful in their right time. Be patient. Don't eat in the morning what you should eat in the night. Let us never let the hour hand of our clock move faster than the minute hand. The minute hand has to go 1 revolution of 60 minutes before the hour hand moves. If it goes the other way around, we are in trouble. Sometimes you look at people's lives, sadly, that boy that was abusing his life, smoking kush or doing whatever they call this thing, that girl that thought that she was the hottest thing and never closed her legs and was hot, and then 30, 40 years down the line, it's like, wow, what happened to him? What happened to her? Sometimes even physically things tell on our bodies. And then people say, my child, be careful. I know this path. Yes, it's true. Let's learn to be patient. Number 8, we must be people that understand timing. That ties in with patience. Timing in 2 ways. Timing in the sense that this is not the right time for this. No matter how exciting, enticing, and other people are pushing us to invest into this, buy this, do that, it's not the time. Build this, it's not the time. And also timing on the sense that this is the right time. If you don't get it, you will lose it. This is opportunity. We must understand timing. Because sometimes opportunity comes and we are folding our arms. And the whole summer passes and opportunity came. What happened to us? Sometimes there is no opportunity and we jump in. We must understand the timing. Going back to that scripture I just made reference to, Ecclesiastes chapter 3. So after the book of Psalms in the middle of the Bible, you have Proverbs next to Proverbs, and then Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. Type it, read it out. You'll see that it says to every time, for every purpose there is a season. So if I'm a businessman and I go and invest in winter coats now, and they come now in June in the Gambia, we don't have winter, but let's say we did Hamatan coats. Who's going to buy them? It's the wrong time. Or I wait till January and I ship 4 containers of umbrellas and I'm trying to sell them. And nobody wants to buy them because they are not going to be useful maybe till June. The right timing. We must understand proper timing for business, for all kinds of things. Number 9, we must learn to celebrate others as a country. You know, we always talk about the PhD syndrome. PhD, not doctor of philosophy, but pull him down. PhD, pull her down. We must not have that. We must learn to celebrate other people's success. That way life would also bring success our way. Because a lot of success is not luck. It's hard, intentional, disciplined, dedicated, consistent work. Patient, sacrifice, service. All these things we've talked about. Intentionality. So we must celebrate others. Number 10, we must learn humility in apprenticeship. You know, it's the truth that because of the size of our country and a lot of factors, a lot of the things that we want to do, we are always going to have people to help us. Whether it's in university, whatever, we're going to always have to have people who have gone ahead to come and help us until there is technological transfer, there is apprenticeship until we rise up to that point, or even we send our own people out and they train for years and they come. There's always going to be somebody who is your mentor, somebody who is giving you apprenticeship. For you and I to succeed in that and for this to become a national qualitative character, a core value, a corporate culture that leads us into national prosperity generationally, we must learn to be humble. I don't know this. I'm sorry. I'm willing to learn. I will change. Not to be angry, bang the door. You know, in Wolof we say chipu, walk out and go. Because we are too proud to learn. We are too proud to be corrected. We are too proud to be instructed. That is not good. That shortcuts you from a lot of things. Because even if somebody was testing you, you failed the test. A dear friend of mine told me how in her business, she was trying to correct the staff, and the staff said, I don't like the way, and she left the work. And I asked her, why is she? She said, Pastor, she's sitting at home. And then she said to me, Gambia is a sweet country. I said, what do you mean? She said, in this country, you can stay at home, not work, but you'll eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You cannot try that, not even in Senegal next door. Not to talk of countries like Nigeria, South Africa. You'll starve to death. And by the way, there is a verse in the Bible that puts it this way. Let him that does not work not eat. So the Bible does not encourage laziness. God does not encourage laziness. You just open your mouth, people will feed you. No, you work. You exchange your sweat equity, your mental business faculty acumen equity for money. And you multitask for it. So we must learn to be humble in apprenticeship so we can learn. I think there's a phrase in Wolof that says, Kui ut moi mun. Kui ut moi mun. The person that's looking for something will bear a lot. Or in English, they say, learn to stoop so that you will conquer. So we must be humble in apprenticeship. And then as all these things are happening, we must also have this core value, qualitative characteristic of being able to monitor and evaluate what we are doing so we can tweak it to the left or to the right here and there. So we must have regular monitoring and frank evaluation, and not just saying Bahna ni Kendokog is good, so it's all right, and look for the next project that is coming and the next vehicle and the next laptop and the next TA and expert that's coming. No. Second to last, if we are going to be intentional people who are galvanized on the pathway to national prosperity for legacy, the Gambians must learn to have generational thinking. Foresight. Generational thinking is that which will always put companies like Apple and others way ahead. You might have an iPhone 15, but I'm almost sure they are working on 20 and 21. Oh yes. And because of the stiffness of that competition, they have to keep at the top of their game and be a step or two ahead of their competition. We have to be generational thinkers. We cannot just think now, my generation, eat it all, and so on. We must have generational thinking and generational living. That is why you eat small and live for the generation. That's why you have things like crop rotation in agriculture. That's why no farmer eats everything. They eat part of the corn, and then the old corn and rice, tie it, put it on that local corrugated iron roof for the next season. If not, you have nothing to eat. Life is a balance of seed and fruit. Seed and fruit. If you get it wrong, you will eat fruit and seed together. No, you eat fruit, plant seed. Because seed will give you fruit, and from that fruit you'll eat, keep some seed so you can plant again, and the cycle continues and it enlarges. That is prosperity thinking. And finally, we must be a people of empathy. Empathy should be a core Gambian value. We don't laugh at people when they have a problem. We don't hate people because of their tribe and their religion. We don't keep harping on them. Wahon nako. I mean, no say it will happen. I saw it coming. I said it. God has answered my prayer. I prophesied it. No, no, no. Let's show empathy. Let's be people that are able to lift people who are down, encourage them, walk them into the place of prosperity. Because when it works well for all of us, we all rejoice. As I always like to say, a short man who lives with pygmies is not a tall man. He has an exaggerated height. When tall people appear, and he knows how short he is. So ladies and gentlemen, as I end this series called Gambian Intentionality, the Pathway to National Prosperity, I present vision that we must have, our mission, and our core values or our national corporate culture. And I present 13 of them to you. Planning and preparation, integrity, number 2, discipline and self-control, number 3, contentment and not giving ourselves to inordinate jealousy and ideas and booga booga, Number 5, sacrifice and service. Number 6, honor and respect. Number 7, patience. Number 8, understanding time in both ways. Number 9, learning to celebrate others and not killing them and putting them down. Number 10, we must be humble when we are being taught, mentored, and taken through an apprenticeship. Number 11, whatever we do to make sure we are still on that path of prosperity, we must do honest, regular, impartial, unemotional monitoring and evaluation so we can tweak here and there and be better. Second to last, number 12, and I love this, we must be generational thinkers and we must live generationally, there is always going to be a tomorrow. And finally, number 13, we must be a people of empathy. And I'm sure the list can go on and on and on. Some of you can even shorten this, that Pastor, it's not 13, it's 5. I agree. But if all of them come together, there'll be something different about us. And let me capture it the way the Bible puts it. There is a verse in the Bible in a book called Philippians, Philippians, one of the many cities of Asia Minor, Greece. Philippians chapter 4, around verse 8 and 9. It says something like this: whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are of a good report, whatever things are of virtue, if there is anything praiseworthy in them, think on these things. Forget the negatives. Don't dwell on them. Think on the positives. It will be a win-win. We will be intentional people, generationally intentional, generationally prosperous in what we do. And we will be that smiling country, yes. And many people want to be in this country. Until I come your way next week, by the grace of God, this is Pastor Forbes saying, may God keep us, may God keep our nation, but may we become intentionally driven for national prosperity. Thank you, and have a good day. Discover